Nelson Mandela Foundation's Razia Saleh is joining us now here on our couch this morning. Thank you very much for coming to our program this morning to share about this. This is like brilliant stuff. It's exciting. It must have taken long, though, to get the digital archives going.
Yes, it took about 4 years. So the partnership with the French Institute of Audiovisual Archives started in about 2012. And it's only ready now, so it's taken a long time. There were about 591 dicta bells that needed to be digitized, and it was a long process because they had to reinvent the machine to play back the.
And these are the recordings from day one of the Rivonia Trial to the last day.
Yes, it's from roughly from October 1963 till about 20th of May 1964. So it's just the last few days that weren't recorded. Yeah.
I'm always amazed at what is the actual process of digitizing something. Are you? I mean, you were part of the process. Did you actually witness what was done? Like you say, they had to reinvent the machine to actually play back what was done at that time. What is the process? And of course, you don't want to damage whatever. Was it tape? I don't know. What was it at the time?
No, so there was something called dicta bells. So it was I guess a format that was used to store recordings in from like the 1940s until about 1970s. So you know LPs, long players, so it's similar to that. Okay. So it's a plastic sheet that gets recorded on. And the playback machine for that, they stopped developing it in the early 70s. So there was nothing, you know, to use the machine to play back those recordings. And then in about 2000, the British Library actually digitized Madiba's speech from the dock. But that was all that was digitized. And then for many years, the National Archives were exploring ways of digitizing or getting the other recordings from the Rivonia Trial out in the public domain. And then finally, the breakthrough happened in 2011 at a conference in Cape Town, where they met with the French Institute of Audiovisual Archives, and then through a discussion, there's someone called Henry Chamou, who had actually developed a machine to play back wax cylinders from like the 1890s, you know, a long time ago. And then he adjusted the archaeophone. He called the machine he developed an archaeophone, and he adjusted the machine to play back the cylinders. And the when the British Library did it, it was still a very archaic playback machine, and they needed to iron the dicta bells because, you know, they stored flat in an envelope in a file, so they had creases on the side. So what Henry Chamou did, he avoided the process of ironing the vinyl dicta bells because that actually damages it. So Madiba's speech, when the British did it, it had some, by ironing it, they stretched it a bit and it had scratches. So the new invention didn't do that. So it was marvelous. Wow. So it was marvelous. So
the quality is much better.
The quality is much better, and it's a laborious process. And you digitize in real time. So if it's 2 hours, then it takes 2 hours to digitize. So it does take a long.
I know. I'm trying to picture all of this in my head.
But this is coinciding very nicely then, Razia, with the centenary of Nelson Mandela this year that's being celebrated, and this will be honoring that legacy of his. Now, once it's at the National Archives, as we've said in our introduction, the public can go and spend time listening and accessing these recordings.
Yes, it's available at the moment on the National Archives website. So if you search Rivonia Trial or dicta bells, you should come across it. I understand that they were having some issues with their server last week, but it should be up and running. So anyone can go in and listen to extracts from the.
So we in the media now can no longer complain when we're doing research to try and find Madiba's, what did Madiba say on that day during the trial, or whoever else was speaking. We can just access it there. There's no more excuses. I'm hoping our producers are listening. But
shame. It's a lot to go through, but yes, it would be. Is it only what was said at the trial, only what was there, or does it include reaction from outside? Does it include media reports at the time, reporting of the trial? What is actually on this version?
No, it's the actual trial. So it's day one of the trial, and it's everything. So from the minute the judge sits down, they switch on the machine and everything gets recorded. And then when it gets adjourned, it gets switched off. So you'd hear, you hear background noises, you hear the audience attending the trial, sometimes oohing or clapping, or, so you pick up much more than just the.
It'll be
the
like being
judge
there
and-
if you
so you also
Yeah,
pick
it's like-
up
it's like attending the trial.
ambience, you know.
Yes.
There's history there. I mean, somebody wants to know about what really happened. You're going to be able to find it. Is the Nelson Mandela Foundation working on other similar type of projects to enrich our national archives and contribute to an appropriate and accurate recording of history?
Yes, we have an ongoing digitization program where everything in our archives are being digitized. We've, I think, digitized about 95% of what we have, and as new things come in, we get to digitize it as well. So we have various things. Madiba's desk calendars that he had when he was in jail. He had these calendars from 1976 onwards where he wrote, he used it as a diary, so he noted all sorts of things, and as the years went by, he added more and more information on the diaries, which make fascinating reading. So that's been digitized and available on our website.
Oh, that's brilliant, and well done on the digitization of the Rivonia Trial.
And the
records.
patience that must have
Patience,
taken
yeah,
to get through that.
and the wonderful collaboration. I think it was a French institute of sorts that helped as well. Thank you very much.